Welcome to ET English, the unique English language learning feature of Education Times. This recording is brought to you by Panthea Gunathilaka, the founder of Cleon, Academy for Speech, Drama and Leadership. The Education Times comes to you every week with the Sunday Times, a leading publication of Vijaya Newspapers Limited. ET English introduces a unique way of learning English. Through stories, it has a short novel and also a picture story, both of which are being published in episodes every week. All the lessons and activities that are given in the feature are from these two stories. Many English scholars accept that when you learn a language through stories, you remember them better. Further, the picture story will complement this by adding the visual component as well, where it will help the readers create vivid images in their minds, helping them remember those dialogues and the words through these incidents. Now we're going to bring the audio version of this feature, where you can listen to the stories and the lessons. First the picture story, secondly the novel, and finally the lessons. The short stories are taken from the book The Mirror of Paradise by Asghar Hussain, and beginning with the new picture story I, Jenners, writer Ranjit Gunaratne. To get the best out of this feature, we suggest that you get a copy of the Education Times and also a dictionary. Also, it will help if you read the feature once or twice on your own. At the same time, try to get the correct pronunciation by listening to audio attentively and repeatedly and trying to read it after every dialogue, emulating the voices that you hear. We shall start now. We bring you episode 14, I, Jenners, of the picture story. The writer, Ranjit Gunaratne. Illustrations by Anton B. Pereira.
Nice piece of music. Turn the volume up a little.
This is Hans playing his guitar. Marvelous, isn't he?
12 likes already. I told you to upload it before.
And I just didn't listen, huh? See, Dirk just liked it.
Hans, I'm telling you again. Give a little rest to your bike and the car.
And spend a little more time with my guitar and my books, huh?
Then at least practice your guitar a little more.
I know you mean well, Macha. But I feel lazy to study too much.
Ron, have you sent that order for the hard disks and the other stuff?
Yes, I did, Appa. I sent the email.
I don't know how I could cope without you. With your mother gone and...
Don't worry, Appa. I can handle these things. And Amma must be watching over us from heaven.
She was a wonderful woman, your mother.
Yes, Appa. I know. Well, let's go to bed now.
That's a lot of money, Dirkie. What's wrong with the phone you have?
Nothing, but I want a phone with a better camera. Well, don't worry, Dad. I know what to do.
Let's start with episode 24. A Good Medical Boy. The story continues. Writer Asghar Hussain. Taken from The Mirror of Paradise. Mr. Dissanayake chuckled. "Oh no, is it?" he said. "That's my daughter's doll, the one she played with as a 5-year-old. My wife wanted to keep it for sentimental reasons." Before long, we found ourselves looking at 2 strange contraptions kept on a table. According to Mr. Dissanayake, one was a chromatic stereoscope and the other a zoetrope. Both were apparently from the Victorian period. We wondered what functions they could have performed. The chromatic stereoscope had lenses and bore a vague resemblance to a viewmaster or a pair of binoculars. The zoetrope consisted mainly of a hollow round frame which at first glance looked like a lampshade. As curious as we were, we didn't inquire about them from Mr. Dissanayake. We felt this would prompt him to give a long and detailed explanation.
Starting with the activities. Activity 1. Read the text carefully and underline the most appropriate word or phrase given within brackets. You may refer to episodes ET23 to check your answers to question 1. The first one. In the previous episode, Rajpal and his friend were amazed to find an item among the antiques. What was it? A bear doll. The second one. Why did Mrs. Dissanayake want to keep it? For sentimental reasons. The third one. What did Rajpal and his friend find on a table? 2 strange contraptions. The fourth one. The chromatic stereoscope was somewhat like a pair of lenses. The fifth one. The 2 strange contraptions kept on the table were a stereoscope and a zoetrope. Moving on to activity 2. Reading is testing hypotheses or making assumptions. When we do not understand difficult words or unfamiliar words, we guess what they mean and try to understand the text. Match the following words with their definitions. The first one, sentimental. A 19th century optical toy consisting of a cylinder with a series of pictures on the inner surface that, when viewed through slits with the cylinder rotating, give an impression of continuous motion. The second one, contraption. B. As far as one knows, it seems that seemingly, evidently. The third one, stereoscope. C. A machine or device that appears strange or unnecessarily complicated. The fourth one, zoetrope. D. A device by which 2 photographs of the same object taken at slightly different angles are viewed together, creating an impression of depth and solidity. The fifth one, apparently. E. Prompted by feelings of tenderness. romantic, emotional, nostalgic. Moving on to activity 3. Grammar focus. Framing simple past tense questions. Frame the questions on the right in a way to get the responses on the left. The first one, he said, "That's my daughter's doll." What? The second one, my wife wanted to keep it for sentimental reasons. Why? The third one, both were apparently from the Victorian period. From which? The fourth one, the chromatic stereoscope had lenses. What? The fifth one, we felt this would prompt him to give a long and detailed explanation. What? Activity 4. Match the contextual references from the picture story in column A with their corresponding expressions in column B. Contextual reference. The first one, nice piece of music. Similar expressions. A. The first one, Sita, I'm telling you once again, give a little rest to your mouth. The second one, Hans playing his guitar. Marvelous, isn't he? B. The first one, I asked him to download the file. The second one, boss wanted me to create a new folder. The third one, I told you to upload it. C. The first one, she was an amazing lady. Your sister. The second one, he was a wonderful person. Your father. The fourth one, spend a little more time with my guitar and my books, huh? D. The first one, beautiful piece of music. The second one, a lovely melody. The third one, a fascinating tune. The fourth one, a touching symphony. The fifth one, Hans, I am telling you again, give a little rest to your bike and the car. E. The first one, Malani is singing. Superb, isn't she? The second one, the beauty queen is stepping onto the stage. Gorgeous, isn't she? The sixth one, she was a wonderful woman. Your mother. F. The first one, she doesn't know how she could manage with such a lot of work without your help. The seventh one, I don't know how I could cope with my work without you. G. The first one, spend a little more time with the flowers in my garden. Spend a little more time with your children.
Let's take a look at the word bank. We have 13 words today. The first one, marvelous, which means extremely good and wonderful. The second one, lazy, means unwilling to work or to be active, doing as little as possible. Chuckle is the third word, which means an act of laughing quietly. Moving on to the fourth word, sentimental, which means connected with your emotions rather than reason. Contraptions, the fifth word. These are machines or pieces of equipment that look strange. The sixth word is stereoscope. It is a device by which two photographs of the same object taken at slightly different angles are viewed together, creating an impression of depth. Seventh word, zoetrope. It's one of the several pre-film animation devices that produce the illusion of motion by displaying a sequence of drawings.
The eighth word is apparently. This means according to what you have heard or read, according to the way something appears. Hollow is the ninth word, and hollow means having a hole or empty space inside. Moving on, we come to the 10th word, function, which is an activity or purpose of a person or thing. The 11th word is perform, which means to do something such as a piece of work, task, or duty. Consist is the next word, means be composed or made up of. The 13th and the last word for today's lesson, curious, having a strong desire to know about something. With that, we wrap up with lesson 24. Thank you.
Dear listeners, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to our recordings. You're welcome to give us your feedback and suggestions on the phone numbers and the email address given in the ET English feature in the Education Time section. We meet again next week. The recording was brought to you by Panthea Gunathilaka, the founder of Cleon Academy for Speech, Drama and Leadership. Until then, goodbye and happy learning.